When the land bridge was drowned by the melting Ice Age glaciers, Siberian seafarers continued to paddle across. These early hunters came in waves of different ethnic backgrounds and made up the first residents of Alaska. The Aleuts of the island chain. The Eskimos of the Arctic, who traveled all the way to Greenland. The Tlingit, Haida, and Shimshon Indian tribes migrated to the milder coastal areas of the Southwest. The Athabascan tribe moved inland. Because of the economic potential, the Russians claimed and colonized Alaska as Russian America, settling first on Kodiak Island. Then later in Sitka, Russian America extended as far south as California. But the Tsar found the American adventure was too far from his capital to control and too expensive to maintain. In 1867, U.S. Secretary of State William Seward negotiated the purchase of Alaska. He paid the Tsar $7,200,000, about 2 cents an acre. But only a few years later, a German investor started the rush for gold in Alaska. In 1880, he sent 2 fun-loving prospectors down the Gastineau Channel to look for gold. Dick Harris and Joe Juneau liked Indian whiskey more than they liked looking for gold. The Indians showed the prospectors a stream where gold was lying in lumps as large as beans. They took out 100 pounds of very good float gold quartz, and the rush was on. In gold rush days, and even now, newcomers to Alaska were called Chichakos. Sourdoughs were the veterans of at least one winter. More than 200,000 Chichakos braved the cold and hostile land, seeking nuggets as big as duck eggs. Less than 4,000 of them struck it rich, however. Many died of scurvy or of the cold, though all the survivors called it the greatest adventure of their lives. Legends of characters as large as the land were passed on in story and song. There was Sam McGee, the Malamute Kid, and Dangerous Dan McGrew. There was Diamond Tooth Gertie and Soapy Smith, and the lady that's known as Lou. We'll start our tour of Alaska in the southeastern area, known as the Panhandle. As you'll see, there are very few towns in this area that you can reach by road. Transportation varies from road to ferry to ships and planes. The quickest way to get here is by plane. There are also a number of cruise lines operating here each summer. That's really a great way to enjoy everything along the way, and that's the way we'll start our video trip. All cruise ships get a course through the Inside Passage. It's called a marine highway, and it runs all the way from Seattle to Glacier Bay and Skagway. This protected waterway is a maze of deep channels and forested islands. One of the busiest ports of departure for Alaska is Vancouver, British Columbia. The start of any cruise is one of its highlights. Everyone feels an exhilaration as the ship moves away from the dock and picks up speed for the voyage north. Your first full day aboard, you can explore the ship itself and find how to get from your cabin to all the different restaurants, lounges, and swimming pools. Then, you can stake out a deck chair and watch for eagles, whales, and remote Indian villages.
beaches created so that we could understand boundaries? Or is a great beach really the gateway to paradise? Perhaps the only boundary to your paradise is which beach you would choose to visit and what you could do when you got there. Because we believe in gateways rather than boundaries, we offer you guided tours of some of the world's favorite ideas of paradise. So indulge yourself. You can get 5 Rand McNally beach video trips for $79.95, a savings of almost $20. So when you can't be there, feel there. And when you can, your favorite beach will be as familiar as your first sandbox. Call 1-800-24-TRIPS and soak up some shorelines. Visa, MasterCard, and American Express accepted. Ever wish you could go on a guided trip to exotic places, but you didn't want to get lost in the crowd? Ever go on a dream vacation and find out later you missed the best part? For under $20, you can own a guided tour to some of your favorite faraway places. You can get the most experienced guides at your command. Ski, golf, explore, enjoy as our special guest before you fly away. Only then you'll really know where you're going. Rand McNally Video Trips, your gateway to getting away. Call 1-800-24-TRIPS. Visa, MasterCard, and American Express accepted.
These days, you're working harder for your money. So it's nice to know the best things in life are still free. Panama City Beach, Florida. Our snow-white beaches are rated among America's best, and they're still absolutely free. Panama City Beach. Call 1-800-PC-BEACH.
Panama City, Panama City, Panama City.
The first major Alaskan community on a journey north is Ketchikan, about a day-and-a-half cruise from Vancouver. Ketchikan means thundering eagle wings. That's what the Indians called a wind-blown waterfall nearby. And it's an appropriate first stop, being somewhat typical of many southeast Alaskan towns, squeezed between steep mountains and a narrow arm of the sea. Ketchikan was established because of the excellent salmon fishing in the surrounding waters. And it was suddenly transformed into a boisterous mining camp when gold was discovered. Today, the town is best known for 3 things: totem poles, great salmon fishing, and rainfall, an average of 151 inches a year. Still, its charm and history make it a favorite stop of all Alaska visitors. Your first stop should be on the pier, at the Ketchikan Visitors Bureau, where you can get a free walking guide to the town. This is also the place to board the many tour buses which visit all the town's attractions. Ketchikan has been described as 3 blocks wide and 3 miles long. Waterfront Street is one long row of gift shops, selling everything from Eskimo art to scrimshaw. A few blocks away is the historic district at Creek Street. Its boardwalk runs alongside weather-polished houses built on pilings above Ketchikan Creek, where lovesick salmon swim for romance. In memory of those lively times, Dolly's house is open for visitors. It's still furnished as in pioneer days, when Dolly, Frenchie, Black Mary, and Blind Polly cast their netted stockings for the men of the salmon fleet. The Indians had no written language, so they carved totems in cedar to record family histories and fanciful legends. And Ketchikan has more totems than any other place in the world. There are several excellent places to view a variety of totems. At Saxman Totem Park, 3 miles south, there are some 22 poles, and you may even see a master carver at work. At Totem Bite Park, 10 miles north, there are 13 poles and a beautiful community house, all nestled by the water's edge. And in town, the Totem Heritage Cultural Center has an excellent collection of original, unaltered poles. They are sons and daughters of the raven, and consider the raven to be sacred. You see the raven symbol repeated on many totem poles, usually near the top, in a protective position. If you get tired of touring, remember Ketchikan is known as the salmon capital of the world. The Visitors Bureau can help you arrange a fishing trip, and you can even have your catch smoked or frozen and shipped back home. Next, along the Marine Highway, is the old Russian capital, Sitka. Here, cruise ships tie up where Russian vessels once were loaded with furs to be sailed to China, and ice for the bars of California. A Russian fort was built here in 1799, but in 1802, the Tlingit Indians massacred all those in the colony. 2 years later, the Russian Navy poured cannon shot on the Tlingit village and re-established Sitka as New Archangel, a community that tried to rival Russia's St. Petersburg for fancy dress balls and banquets. In fact, it was known as Paris of the Pacific. It remained the Tsar's capital in North America until the American purchase of Alaska in 1867. Today, the Onion Dome of St. Michael's Cathedral is the most photographed building in Sitka. It still holds many valuable Russian icons. Sitka has become known for performances of Russian folk dances by the New Archangel dancers. The troupe consists entirely of local women. Performances are held in the Centennial Building, and the Visitors Bureau can provide you with a schedule of performances.
This vacation break is brought to you by Gold Coast Cruises. There's no substitute for experience.
Hello there, my name is Steve O'Brien. Thanks for letting us join you. We're going to take a vacation break now, and my friend Walter Shirota is here today. Walter is from Gold Coast Cruises. So Walter, welcome.
Thank you, Steve.
Good to have you here. We're going to talk prices for just a moment, Walter. People are under the impression you always have to pay a lot more on a cruise that goes to a very popular destination. Is that true?
No, Steve, for less than $95 a day, we have 3-, 4-, and 7-day cruises to the Eastern, Western, Caribbean, and the Bahamas available now. This includes 8 sumptuous meals a day, entertainment day and night, shipboard activities virtually non-stop, private air-conditioned stateroom, and many exciting ports of call. And we have this available on several ships.
That's terrific. So we can call and book now and get that kind of price from Gold Coast Cruises?
You sure can, Steve.
That's terrific. One of the things I like about Gold Coast, Walter, is the fact that people can use their credit cards, too.
Yes, Steve, and not only can they use their credit cards, we'll send all the callers a free cruise brochure.
All right, terrific, Walter. Thank you for your free cruise brochure. No obligation, by the way. Or for more information about cruising for $95 a day, call the toll-free hotline numbers from the U.S. and Canada, 1-800-443-7447. From the U.S. and Florida, it's 1-800-642-7447. Remember, there's no obligation, but you're obligated to have a great time, and you will with Gold Coast Cruises. I'm Steve O'Brien. See you soon.
This vacation break was brought to you by Gold Coast Cruises. There's no substitute for experience.
Next stop is at the town named for the rascally Joe Juno. It was started by gold. But as the state capital, it's government jobs that keep it going today. On the north side of Gastineau Channel, downtown Juneau is nestled at the base of steep mountainsides. And on the south side, Douglas Island, now a prosperous Juneau suburb, was the site of the famed Treadwell Mine, nicknamed the Glory Hole, because between 1880 and 1922, it produced $67 million worth of bullion. A fellow named John Treadwell bought the claim from a sourdough called French Pete. Some say he paid $400 for the claim. Others insist it was only $5. Once you arrive, you'll quickly find yourself downtown at Franklin Street. An attractive combination of restored and relatively modern buildings just above Marine Park. Stop in any shop along here and pick up a free walking guide to downtown Juneau. Joe Juno is buried in Evergreen Cemetery across Gold Creek. Further along the tour is the Davis Log Cabin, originally built in 1881 as Juneau's first church. It now houses the Juneau Visitors Bureau, where you can get literature and recommendations on local activities. Next is the St. Nicholas Russian Orthodox Church, an unusual octagonal structure built in 1894. Inside, you can see beautiful icons, vestments, and other furnishings brought from Russia in the 19th century. Nearby, the Alaska State Museum has an outstanding collection of Indian and Eskimo artifacts and art. Glaciers are rivers of ice, snow, rock, sediment, and organic debris that move under the force of gravity. People who study them say Alaska's glaciers have been advancing and pulling back for 12.5 million years. Just 13 miles outside of Juneau is one of the most accessible, the magnificent Mendenhall Glacier. One of the few on the globe you can reach by road. The glacier ends in a wall of ice 200 feet high and currently is receding at the rate of 90 feet a year. The best sightseeing is a helicopter flight over the Mendenhall Glacier and the awesome Juneau ice field. And they'll even land and let you walk around on top. The forward movement of the glaciers make it impossible to build a road from Juneau to the Alaska River Valley. So, you'll find the road only goes a few miles either way out of town. That's why everything and everyone has to arrive and depart by air or by sea. If you've never been on a raft trip, the Mendenhall River is a good place to start. Almost anyone can take the 5-mile trip and enjoy the beautiful scenery. One of the most peaceful spots near Juneau is the Shrine of St. Therese. Here, in the serenity of the shrine, you can reflect on your own place in this beautiful world. Juneau also has some great fishing. Charter boats will take you to their favorite spots for king, coho, and pink salmon, dolly parton, and giant halibut. The best fishing is in early to mid-August and runs through early September. And whether you catch your limit or not, you can enjoy fantastic grilled salmon and fun entertainment any evening at the Gold Creek Salmon Bay. When you leave Juneau by sea, your ship has 2 options on the way north: Glacier Bay and the Lynn Canal, and each is outstanding in its own way. Many cruise passengers consider Glacier Bay National Park to be the highlight of their Alaska experience. Here, 16 of the icy rivers spill into the bay, and an absolutely awesome sight. You see entire sections of ancient ice drop into the mirror surface of the bay. You hear the white thunder. and those on the water in small boats or kayaks hear the phenomenon known as ice sizzle, a champagne popping that comes when thousands of air bubbles are released from the densely compacted ice. Some cruise ships may send a tender to collect samples of 10,000-year-old ice to cool your cocktails and to keep the salmon and king crab legs fresh. Humpback and killer whales may break the bay surface to show off for visitors. And harbor seals pop their brown heads from the icy water. Park rangers tell of strange glacier creatures, ice worms, and ice fleas that live on algae and lichen. Some visitors think they're hearing Alaska-sized put-on, but others claim they really do exist. We'll leave it up to you. No roads find the way to Glacier Bay, and the park is not served by marine highway ferries. Visitors can reach the small community of Gustavus by scheduled airline flights or by small plane or boat charters.
We hope you've enjoyed today's episode of Video Trips. Tune in for part 2 of this exciting destination next time on Video Trips, here on the Travel Channel.